Hey everybody, this is John from aMTBer Products. Well, it's Saturday morning. It's stopped raining. It's been raining, let's see, 7 out of the last 8 days. So it started last Friday, all through the weekend, and we had one day off, just enough to dry out, and it started pouring again the next day. So I've just been busy here in the shop, and we've got some new Darkmatter T-shirts going up on the site. There's one on me here. So that's coming, and I'm only going to do two colors. It's like a charcoal gray and a black because it makes the logo look good. And the Smooth Lube original formula in the shop bottle is on the website now, and I should be able to take a nice picture of it today with the sun out. So the winter weather is definitely here. It came early in Southern California. Sometimes it doesn't start raining here till January, but we've got it pretty darn early this year, and that's good. Gives me a chance to do some more wet weather testing and get some more data on just how long I can go with the different formulas on different bikes. But I don't think any of you who have bought the product are going to have any problems going into winter. I think my wax formula outperforms even the wet formulas, what we used to call the wet formula, which would typically be an oil-based formula. I think my product outperforms that because nothing sticks to it. So there's nothing to clean at the end of the ride. Any little bit that gets on there just hoses right off, which is unlike any of the products, because a lot of the other products you wash the lube off while you're doing that. Our lube is waterproof, and that's something they all are lacking. The waterproof level's low and the durability's low when this weather hits, and ours does great. Designed for the dust, but it does exceptionally well in the wet. So one of the things I talked about in the last video was I was going to talk about how all the companies are all doing the same thing right now. They're all pushing this same thing, and it looks to me like it's just another way. It's a new method to extract lots of money out of your pocket. That's what it looks like to me now. I don't have all the screenshots in this phone, but I found at least 6 companies now out of the blue that have a crockpot wax formula. They have a crockpot you can buy for $100, and then they have a drip lube. So the paradox is, well, if your drip lube's good, why did you need the crockpot? And if your crockpot's so good, why did you need a drip lube? Because it's a time-consuming process, and I'm going to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about the Darkmatter and Uber Clear, and even the 5311 going into winter real quick. I try to get this in every 2 or 3 podcasts. We are getting into really cold temperatures. Now, out of the blue, we went from normal Southern California weather to, I was waking up and it was 42 degrees outside, rainy, wet. And this is around the time that my bottles of chain lube get a little bit hard to flow. So the cold temperature does affect the viscosity. So keep it warm. Keep your bottles, especially the Uber Clear and the Darkmatter, which are very, very thick when it gets down below, like say, below 55, 60 degrees, you'll start to see it. Keep them warm. If they do get frozen, just get a bowl of super hot water from the tap and throw the bottle in there with the shipping cap on it, or the regular cap, but be careful not to let any water get in with it. Warm the bottle back up for about a half an hour if it does freeze solid. Now, it's going to have to get really low temperatures. I don't know at what temperature each one freezes, but it's below 30 degrees. So some of them will freeze around 27 degrees. Some will freeze maybe lower, like around 25 or 20 degrees, somewhere around that range. But they're not going to freeze at 32. They're going to freeze a little bit lower than that. So unlike other ones that are an emulsion, which, the one on the right is 75% water. When that freezes, the emulsion is broken and you can't restore it. So it'll come out all gritty it'll come out. I've had it. It's happened to me before with other dry lubes that are water based. They freeze, and then it's kind of like, it's sort of like, it's not silky anymore. It's sort of like got particles in it, big chunks. It's still usable, but it's not ideal. Ours, when it freezes, can be revived by just adding or just submerging it in super hot water, or putting it next to a heater, putting it somewhere where it's really warm, somewhere where some hot air is blowing on it. It's really simple to revive the quote emulsion. Okay, so the emulsion's not destroyed if it freezes, and if it gets really cold and hard to get out of the bottle, do the same thing. Get it warm. You can put it in your pocket for a while too. That does it, and then shake it up, and once it gets to a decent temperature, it'll flow normally again. So ours does exceptionally well in the wet conditions. Make sure you let it dry thoroughly before you go out in the rain, because it is waterproof once it's dry. So normally it takes about a half an hour. Normally it takes about 10 or 15 minutes to dry, but now, when it's colder out, it's going to take maybe half an hour or so. But it's definitely not overnight like all of these other products. Most of these other products required overnight drying or 24-hour drying. Who's got time to do that when you've just got enough time to get a ride and you want to go? You're forced with the decision of either putting lube on and riding it wet, or riding yesterday's lube, that kind of thing. Mine eliminates that problem from your life as well. It's a small problem, but if you forget to lube your chain the night before, you're riding on old wax, and it might be dirty, and you might be compromising your chain, the lifespan of your chain. So mine removes that problem from the equation as well. So again, just apply it like shown in the picture here, work it in with the brush. This technique here would be to do like the bottom section of the chain from your jockey wheels over here to your chain ring here, which is about a foot or 18 inches. Run the brush, advance the chain forward, do the next section, do the same thing, push it in with the brush, just push it in once or twice, and then do the whole chain, which takes about 3 to 4 applications. It's usually about 3.5 lengths, 3.5 sections will do it, okay? Typical chain. And then you just run the brush on the chain for 1 minute. Here's an old video, very old video, of me applying the lube, just like a regular chain lube, and then using the brush and just pushing it in, and just going to run it for about a minute like this. Now I do it right there. There's not a lot that transfers to the chain ring, but if you do it the one section at a time, almost nothing transfers to the chain ring. So this is a very simple way of doing this. It doesn't take any longer to do this than, say, doing the 1 drop per link method we all used to do about 10 years ago. This is a very simple way to do this. And then you can see here, he's using the rest that's on the chain, and he's kind of pushing it around onto the chain ring. Let's see if he does it again. I haven't seen this video in a few years. But any excess, you can just put it on the face of the rest of your cassette teeth, and that'll help repel the dust off of your cassette. Your cassette will have no dust on it if you have a small film of this across the entire cassette. Same with the jockey wheels. Any excess on the jockey wheels, use the little brush or toothbrush to spread it around and get the chunks off, get the big globs. If you got a little sloppy, just use that product on the rest of your chain ring and your jockey wheels and even your chain ring, just like where your teeth go. Just no dust will stick to it. So, and then once it's done, like you see, he did it for about a minute, and then it'll be dry in 15 minutes. It'll be very clear. You'll hardly even be able to tell it's even anything on there. Here's me showing a dry chain back in the old days. It's almost, this is the Lube and Schleiden original formula, very low build. You can almost not tell anything's even on there. This is the original formula, probably the first iteration of it. This is an old video at my old house. And looks like it might be my SB55. And yeah, this stuff will dry super clear if you put it on very thin. And the other formulas, like Darkmatter, will leave a little bit of a dark tinge to it if you leave a little on the outside, but that's okay because you're probably using it for wet weather anyways, and e-bikes as well. So back to the idea that all these companies are doing the same thing right now. Now, what I realized was back in the old days, they may have under-engineered the lubes on purpose just to sell you cassettes and chains and jockey wheels and chain rings. And now it looks like we've got the never-ending list of companies selling a Chainwax melting pot. I just Googled Chainwax melting pot, even misspelled it, and at least 4 have come up so far. Here's 5. Let's see. And then you get into... There's 6 now, and there's tons of Silkas. 7, I think. All right, so again, I counted 6. There's 8 now. 9. Oh, look at the price of these, $120. This is the new way to extract money from your pocket. Here's another one. eBay, $92, $100, $146 for the set here. There's that one. We did a little about it. There's more. There's ones that aren't even on here. So this is what they've done. This is what I figured out. This is what we're going to talk about for a second. Now that, back in the old day, a really good race cassette was about $100. A typical cassette for mountain bike was about $50, and now a typical cassette for mountain bike is like $300 up to, I would say, up to $700. And so this was what they did in the past. Now, when they were $50-$60, they would get you once or twice a year for the whole setup, and that was about the same amount of money, buying 4 or 5 chains a year if you're an avid rider. So what they've done is they've realized people aren't going to be very happy with that, so they've embraced the wax thing now. And what they're doing is they're selling you expensive gizmos to maintain your chain. Now, before, you'd only wind up with this situation if you didn't do the work. You would have to do quite a bit. You'd have to do about 5,000 miles a year to go through 1 or 2 cassettes in a year. But now what they've done is they've not only replaced the expense of replacing all these parts with crock pots and drip lubes and all these other gizmos, but now it's taking away a considerable amount of your time. And if you don't stay on top of it, you'll wind up in the same place anyway. So back in the old day, these cassettes weren't very expensive. These are like ones that went to like, say, 28 teeth on a road bike and like 32 teeth on a mountain bike. And then they had the 34 on the 9-speed. And then when they came out with 10-speed, they went to a 36 tooth, which is extremely small by today's standards. Everybody's running at least 50 teeth in the back. I still run E13 946 cassettes, so I've changed my gear. It enables me to run a smaller chain ring. So I'm running like a 30-tooth chain ring with 11 speed 946 on most of my bikes. And it gives me the same gear ratio basically as a 32 with a 1050. It's basically about the same. I've done the math on it. It's actually 1 tooth higher on the high end. It's like it's like I'm running a 33 tooth chain ring with a 10 is what the 30 with a 9 is. That's what it comes out to. So anyway, yeah, so we don't have this problem anymore here where the chain wears out quickly with a crappy lube and then you knock the tips of your teeth off and then you got this shark finning thing. The wax really does eliminate that from happening. You have to really neglect your chain now using wax to get that in the same amount of time that you used to with regular lubes, but it can still happen if you don't stay on top of it, which is why they sell a drip lube. So here's a guy with a 1-year video of testing a wax. This is another product called Optimum or something like that. And they have, again, the melting pot. They have the brick of wax. They sell that. They have three different kinds, and they have their own melting pot. So they have the drip lube. They have everything you need that everybody else is selling, and it's about $200. And he admits that here in the video.
Races and all that stuff. I'm gonna pour a handful of sand straight over my chain to test the chain wax. Now this is gonna be the dumbest thing I've ever done, or it's gonna show that this chain wax is the real deal. In this video, I'm gonna share all my findings, the upsides and the downsides, and also the mistakes that I used while using this product, so you don't have to.
So yeah, there's upsides and downsides. So, you know, I think the product I created called Smooth Lube 5311 does not have a downside at all. Zero.
And then it turns into a solid. All the wax has dried in. I can see some particles falling off. That's just the excess wax. And now you can see it's still...
Okay, so the particles still fall off with this product, and you can see when he's backpedaling, the chain gets really loose on the top there. That's because the chain is super stiff. I don't know if you caught that.
It's stiff, but that's going to change within particles falling off. That's just the excess wax. And now you can see it's still a bit stiff, but that's going to change.
So yeah, it changes after it sheds all over your bike and the environment, and it's wait till you see your back rim in the sun after this happening. So yeah, I've been through all of this stuff. This is 12 years ago I went through all this stuff and got so frustrated with this whole process. He's got a 1-hour video of his 12-month, 1-year review, and I welcome you to listen to it. If this video convinces you to go spend $200 and take away this amount of time of your life to keep your chain, then go ahead. Maybe you got that kind of free time. I'd actually rather be riding my bike. When I get a couple hours of time to do nothing, I don't want to spend an hour of it fixing my bike. And then you have the downside with these products that you have to wait. So you can either clean your chain, do the crock pot, there's an hour. The reality of it is, they'll all say it takes less time. The reality of it is, it's an hour of your life. It really is. If you half-ass it, it's a half an hour. Okay? But it really does take time to set everything up, get the crock pot melted, take the chain off your bike while your wax is melting. You can clean up the rest of your parts, you know, run a toothbrush on everything. Bottom line is, it's still chain maintenance. My product,
in a couple kilometers, you just drip it onto the chain and it will penetrate the complete link. You can do it link by link if your hobby is waxing chains, or you can just rotate the cranks and then drip it on the whole crank. I usually do another...
So you can see here, they're telling you the same exact techniques I've been saying for, well, 7 years, 6 or 7 years since Sea Otter now. Okay, same thing.
Few rotations with my finger on the chain so it spreads out more evenly and really pushes it into the links.
So they tell you to use your finger instead of having a wax brush. That's fine. You know, just pointing out the obvious here.
Don't apply it to the outer plates, only to the top of the rollers. Then let it sit. Don't rotate the cranks for a few hours until it's completely dry.
Okay, so sit and stare at your bike for 3 hours instead of going out and riding like you'd like to be when you have this time to go do it. I'm so busy that when I have 4 hours of time to ride, I don't want to spend any of it maintaining my bike. I want to pump up my tires, lube my stanchions, wipe down the seals, throw some chain lube on, throw the bike on the rack, and by the time I get to the trail, my bike is ready to ride. The chain lube is set up, it's ready to go, no worries. Racing performance out of the bottle, extended chain life, and the smoothest shifting you've ever had. No crazy backpedaling chain slack like that either. None of that. It's a racing chain right out of the bottle.
The hot wax. If you have a little bit more time, or you're looking for that few extra % of performance and longer lifetime with a single application,
spend an extra $50 on this stuff.
You can use the hot wax. Optimize claims that the hot wax can last for 800 to 1000 kilometers in certain conditions. That's a lot. I'll come back to that statement later.
The reality is, where I live, I can't even do 2 back-to-back days of 2 rides of 60 miles apiece. I can't do it on yesterday's wax. The first day I can get through 60 to maybe 100 miles with no problems and not too much noise at the end at all. But the next day, there's no way I'm training on a wax dip chain from yesterday with that many miles on it. It will be rattly within a couple of dozen miles, and I'll just have this anxiety like, wow, all that effort I spent, all those weeks and months, I took this one day to slack off, and now I've got probably added like months of chain wear to my chain in one ride. That's the problem with the crockpot. You're either doing it or you're not. And if you're not doing it, then you're using a drip lube. So why would you use a drip lube that's twice as expensive as mine? Their drip lubes range from $55 down to about $20. And mine, well, they have a wax-only one, which is, I guess if you're a road biker, that's okay. Can't use it on an e-bike. But, you know, the endurance of my product will outperform all of these. And you'll have no anxiety of doing a bunch of premature wear to your chain. And it's affordable. All of my products are considered affordable compared to these products that are out there. They're all double the price of mine. And they don't offer the same performance.
It's been drying up the whole night. So after the chain is all cooled down, you need to break the chain by moving all the links around before you can actually mount it. You will notice that the chain is very stiff because all the wax is solid in between the links. But when you start...
I don't have to say much. I mean, if this is what you want to do with your time, you go right ahead and spend $200.
Moving it, some particles will fall off and the chain will become more flexible. Do it above a bin or outside, or you're going to create a lot of mess. Once you've mounted the chain...
Yeah, so, I encourage you to watch this video if you have an hour of time. I think it's about, it's only 23 minutes long. But it's going to cover every single thing I've said, and it's not me saying it. These are all the same problems I had 12 years ago. And this is why I set out to solve the problem once and for all with one product that does it all. And, came up with this formula here 10 years ago. It's been refined a couple times since Sea Otter, and it's even better now. But I used to run this exclusively on my wax dip chain for 10, 20 rides after the wax dipping, and I realized I don't even need the crock pot anymore, and I never have to take the chain off the bike. At that point, the quick link removal had become a huge problem in itself, which we haven't talked about that in this video, but that's why the second formula there, the Lubenschleiden, that's why I worked on that first for my downhill bike, to not have to have a broken, weak, loose quick link falling off on my downhill bike and my enduro bikes. And then from there I developed the Formula 1.2 in the background there, which was a higher endurance formula, which led to the development of 5311. And they're two different price points. That's why I keep them both. And you'll be happy with either one of them. Most people will be happy with either one of them. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I think I covered it. It's real simple to me in summary that they've replaced you buying parts constantly with spending time and money updating your chain. Yes, you get a better ride, you get better performance, but at what cost? The same cost overall as replacing your parts back when it was a $50 cassette and a $30 chain. Now they're $120 chains with $700 cassettes. So now you're spending your money on these systems and all this time now. I don't have the time for it. That's why I developed it. And anyway, I'm going to try to get these shirts on the website. Right now they're on eBay, so I'll make sure that link is active, and I'll leave a link for that as well. All right, guys, thanks so much. And this is a print-on-demand thing, so it'll be straight from them. I think it's Printful's doing it. So, all right, guys, thanks so much. I'll talk to you next time.